The bell, and I appreciate you always for watching. All right, U.S. national debt tops 35 trillion for the first time in history. Under whose watch? Exactly. So we're not going to excuse that. August 1st, 2024. Adele did this article. Thank you, Adele. U.S. national debt hits record 35 trillion. So let's take a moment and look at that for a minute. I'm going to say something about this 35 trillion. Last year was 34 trillion, and every year after this, will be an extra trillion, maybe extra 2 trillion, because they won't be able to pay off anything. Now, let's take for example, let's say you have a mortgage that's $1,400 or $1,500 a month, and let's say that after paying all your bills for the year, you've paid maybe give or take $50,000 worth of debt a year out of your, let's say you make $70,000 a year, and you pay a little over $50,000 a year for your debt. And then you get relatives moving in your house and they're not paying any bills, and you have to purchase the food for them. You have to then, for some way or the other, the government's made it where they can get on your insurance. So now you're paying an extra $200 or $300 a month on your insurance. So that's $300 extra on your insurance times 12. Let's say times 300 times 5. That's $1,500 a month plus another $1,500 a month for the latter part of the year, the last 6 months. So now my point is, relatives move in, relatives are in a situation where they can't pay for anything. Some of the relatives that move in are qualified to get on your health insurance because the government did some special thing where you can carry people that are not married to you on your insurance, but you're sleeping with them. So that's something that goes on in the government. It used to be where you only could carry your wife and your children, or your husband and your children. Now you can carry your lover on your insurance. So now, let's say you're carrying other people on your insurance because they're under your roof, because now the blue laws have changed it. When the blue laws come from the Jesuits, come from the Vatican, because the Vatican does have part of controlling our government, plus the Aussie Nazis who are in the land called Israel. So here it is, they're changing all the rules because now they want democracy. They want everybody to be on an equal playing field. They don't want nobody to have no money except for the oligarchs, for the people that put them in their positions. You do not put people in their positions in Congress. You do not. You do not. Even, I used to think, well, I know we don't put people as president. I know that. And vice president. I know that. But it seems as if it's trickling down to even the senators in the Congress. Because like Pelosi and like Maxine Waters, when you look at their districts and you look at who they govern over, these places are falling apart, yet they don't look to their representatives and say, hey, you're not doing what you say you're going to do. They look at the other side and say, it's the other side. Pelosi says, it's the other side doing this to you. Why are you looking at me? Why are you believing your lying eyes? Maxine Waters, so go over there and you destroy those people in grocery stores, and you cuss them out at the gas station. You act a fool on them. And then they be like, but, wait a minute. How can you do it and the other side can't do it? Hypocrisy through and through. It's the basement through and through. Now, why do I bring that up in the midst of 35 trillion? Because that's how we get to 35 trillion. When you have authors of confusion, when you have authors of chaos, chaos brings debt. Chaos brings disorder. Chaos breaks down households. Chaos separates people. If a man and a wife argue, a husband and a wife argue all the time. Chaos. Argue why? Because you got all your relatives in this house living off me. I didn't accept it. Let's say the wife had a kid before they got married. I'm taking care of another man's kid. Now your mama want to live with me. Now your sister want to live with me. Now your cousin, her and her boyfriend want to live with me. Now I done had 2 kids with you, and I accept the first child as my own. I accept these 2 because they are mine. Yet now you want to go across seas and go and be all you can be. and leave me with all these people on my little insurance I pay now. Instead of paying $500 a month, now I'm paying $800 a month. Now my mortgage being $1,400 to $1,500 a month. I got a HOA that's $200 and some dollars every quarter or every 6 months, and I can't get out of the negative because I'm letting all these folks come in that's kin to you, because I say I'm a compassionate, loving person. I'm showing all this compassion, but ain't nobody have no compassion on me. Everybody filling my house up because of the blue laws. Go look into the blue laws. Vatican. If you want to thank the world, compassionate world here in the United States for going down, and the compassionate world that was in Venezuela and Cuba for going down, thank the blue laws. When they go and dominate somebody else's country, they use blue laws and they turn around and they use the word democracy. Anytime the oligarch wants to control another country's wealth, like the continent of Africa with all the different presidents, these people are saying, they come in with the rhetoric, democracy. And I remember this new he's not the Ethiopian president, but he's this young guy. He's like maybe in his 30s, and he's the president now because he had to put his foot down and they had to take back their country. And he said that the first thing that those who work for the oligarchs do is they come in and they use the term democracy. The mob rules. The majority rules. But the majority isn't people. The majority is money. And the money comes from central banks, Federal Reserve businesses. They're not banks, they're Federal Reserve loaning sharks. They're loaning sharks to every government around the world. And these loaning sharks pay their loan facilities that Congress and the Senate, all the people that's supposed to represent you, they go and agree together that they're going to get some money from these folks. It's just like you going to the payday loan because you don't have enough money to take care of all these 5-6 people that have moved into your house after your woman and left you with all her folks. Now she gone somewhere, another land, trying to bring democracy there. She left you with her first child, her 2 kids she had with you, her mama lived with you, her sister lived with you, her cousin with her boyfriend lived with you, everybody on your insurance because the government has made it where they can get on your insurance. Your electric bill high, your water bill high now. Your gas bill went up. Your lawn care expenses have went up because now they all trampling on your grass. You have no grass. Now you got to get your grass seeded. Or you don't look like a fool, like you don't even live in the community you're supposed to be in. You got to have upkeep now. The man that moved in with your cousin, your wife's cousin, he won't mow the yard. He won't eat weed. He won't put the sprinkler out because he's too busy right now saying somebody owe him something. He's being in a pity party. Any grown ass man that want to look back in the past and say, "Oh, y'all owe us something," you're not being a man. We can acknowledge that bull crap that happened, but guess what? It's just like in a marriage. And hear me, melanated men. Hear a melanated woman say this: when a man looks in the past and says, "Look how bad you did me." Woman, look how bad you did me. You'll never move forward in the future. You'll never move forward in the right now. You'll never have a clear mind because you're thinking about the bull crap she did to you in the past and left you with all them damn children and all them relatives. What you got to do is in the right now, make the right moves for yourself right now. And as long as we think, and I keep hearing this, as long as we think we need mass formation for anything to happen in a group, we'll never get there. Everything starts with the individual. Then as the individual awakens to the fact that I need to get out of my bullshitism and stop blaming everybody. Are they guilty? Hell yeah, they guilty. But you got to go and look into this system and find out in this system, how can I, like this video I see on my YouTube, this commercial where it talks about, I got to figure out a way to get around the system. Exactly. You can't sit there and think the system gonna have pity on you. The system is turning even against the very folks that they said was special. When they reset the system a few hundred years ago, they reset the cities buried some cities, flooded some cities, blew up some cities. They reset the system and they rewrote his story. They rewrote the American story. And they made everybody elevate that shouldn't have been elevated. Because in the beginning, everybody was doing well here in America. And then things happen. They have wars and they have stock market crashes and they have disbursements of poverty and not money. Poverty starts moving through the land. And some folks get affected worse than other people. Some people already have gardens and they already have farms. And so they were able to eat off the good of the land. And then there was some folks that was melanated that lived in the city and lost everything, just like the Caucasian people lost everything. And then there were folks in the country that were Caucasian and folks in the country that were melanated. And they had gardens and they had farms and they were able to thrive and live and have their living, moving, and being. But when you don't want to live out and leave the urban environment, the 15-minute cities, the 12-minute cities, when the shit hits the fan, you're going to be the first one to go down, baby. And they're going to write about you in history. Now, while I'm talking, I'm looking at this 35 trillion on the screen. And now I say, now do duality right here, girl. Flip that thing. Do duality. What I see is 53. And in gematria, 53 simply means hell is about to arise. That's what the Olympus was trying to say. They finna do another cycle, another reset. And the only way you're going to make it through this reset is you got to have a sound mind. And how do you have a sound mind? You can't look back in your past and say, I regret this, that, and the other, and then stay in it. You got to say, yeah, I regret it. I regretted that I kept looking in the past and looking at how my folks was dead. But from this day forth, I'm going to do everything that I can to navigate myself and my family around the system. If I can't help nobody else, I'm going to help my family. If I can't do nothing else but tell other families, you better get about having on the right mind. You better put on the right mind. And the right mind is the mind that says, my life is my life. My life is my responsibility. My children are my responsibility. My responsibility is my responsibility, not the government's responsibility. Because as soon as you think the government's supposed to give you $3,000 worth of food stamps, because you got 7 kids by seven different men, you in trouble. Because you'll be the first one to take that mark, that pow, that insertion of the beast that will then go in and change your genome to another Elohim's name that will keep you locked in this game perpetually. Because you give your mind, which is the forehead, over to the system to be your parent. The ones that's playing the puppetry of this game, whether they're on the outside of the dome or inside the top of the dome. They're watching everybody playing games with your heart and with your mind. You got to get your own mind back and allow your spirit to rule and reign. And not nobody else's spirit. Not nobody else's spirit. Your spirit, which is eternal. You got to get your own mind right, your own spirit right. You got to go in and say, you know what? Self. The good self. And then the negative self. We need to reason together. Because every time I want to do good, it seems like you want to try to mess it up. Because you can't go outside of yourself to fix nothing. You got to say, if there is a demon in my life, then I'm the damn demon. If there is chaos in my life, I'm the chaos. Why? Because you are the master of your own reality. And anybody who want to put their reality in somebody else's hands that's been written about, and you can't prove it, it's just in your heart right, it's just a feeling right. Well, television can make you move in a feeling as well. Podcast can make you move in a feeling as well. And that's the reason why America's in $35 trillion worth of debt. Why? Because we got moved in our feelings as a mass formation, as a mass of people. Got moved in our feelings. I'm talking to you, Democrats. Got moved in your feelings. Just your feelings. Your deceitful heart. Above all things, right? The heart deceitful above all things. And if you believe the heart is deceitful above all things, then your own heart can deceive you. You still got to use logic. You still got to use reason. You still can't go over there and point and say, it's this man, it's that man, it's this woman, it's that woman, it's this system, it's that system. Of course, it's the system. But it's the system of all of us putting our minds together to accept manipulation. Once we realize, oh, they did that in Venezuela. Oh, they did that in Cuba. Oh, they did that in certain parts of Africa. That's why they can't get on their feet. Oh, they doing that in Russia right now. Oh, they manipulating Ukraine right now. Oh, they being diabolical on Palestine right now. The odds are not just doing too much. Okay, it's them. But it's more than them. It's the Elohim they serve. And if you don't believe that there are Elohims that got folks on the supposedly good side and folks on the bad side, if you don't believe that there are Elohims who don't give a goddamn whether or not you serve them completely or halfway, you're not an adult yet. I have come to find out that whether it's Old Testament God or New Testament God, they work together. And their names are not these current names. And 3 plus 5 gives you 8. And an infinity, a cycle of chaos, of debt, a reset, a burden you can't bear. But then compassion, the manipulation. See, people can be, look, that's why women can be manipulated. Because a narcissistic person can work on a woman's emotions. Unless the woman's cold-hearted and she's a whore that rides on a horse, maybe then she can not be moved. Mm-hmm. You know, if she's just full of demons, maybe she can't be moved and she's going to do what she's going to do. But a regular woman that has intuition, that has a spirit that love resides in and compassion resides in, you got to be real careful not to give all your pearls. See how I can't let them pearls on? Lisa Simpson let them pearls on. Give your pearls to the swine. Because if you give your pearls to the swine, what'll happen is you'll have a suit that turns purple. See, and that suit that turns purple is transitioning you into what they want you to be, because that's what purple means. Purple means transition, transformation, transformer, transitive. See, number 3. The number 3 in trillion is spirit, soul, and body. Why the 5? The 5 is there because when you lift up your palm, you got 5 fingers. And you lift up your palm that's on the right hand, you got 5. And on the left hand, you got 5. But let's just take half of you. If your spirit, soul, and body is not aware of the game, if you don't get yourself aligned to the truth in all aspects, and you don't start asking questions about everything in your life, everything about your spirit life, everything about your mind life, everything about your body life, what you eat, who you purchasing it from, what's in your food, your soul, who feeding you the information? Is it one book, or have you decided to go in every book that has information? I'm going to find out and I'm going to compare and contrast. If you're too afraid to compare and contrast, you're in trouble. If you're too afraid to question every book on the planet, you're in trouble. Your spirit, you got to then understand, you got to know what kind of spirit you have. Do you have a spirit that wants peace? Or do you have a spirit that don't care being debauchery? A low frequency or a high frequency? And that 5, that's half of you. So now the doorway is halfway open. Anytime you see a number 10, there's a 1 and a 0, the beginning and the end. 5 and 5 is 10. But half of that 10 is 5. Half of you right now can awaken to the truth if you deal with your spirit, soul, and body. And it takes time. Sometimes it may take people 6 months. Sometimes it takes 3 years. Sometimes it takes 10 years. But you got to keep on trying. That's all I can say to my subscribers. You know, I can't and won't and will never try to appease anybody that listen to me. Because I listen to my own videos. And if I don't come out here dealing with my spirit, being in the right spirit, not somebody else's spirit, I'm talking about my own spirit, my own frequency, or my own mind. Getting enough information, enough knowledge to compare every book under the sun. My body, making sure that whatever surgeries I have, you go in there and you ask that orthodontist. Like I had an experience where I had to tell the girl what I wanted. I want my teeth back when we finish. I understand your rules and regulations. I want my teeth back and they finished my teeth. I looked up, I said, these are my teeth. I'm not gonna let nobody put me in no box. My teeth, I just paid $400 some for this surgery, and my insurance paid $600 some. I just dropped over $1,100 in less than 30 minutes to you people. You're not gonna tell me I can't have what I want to have when it's mine. Then you go in there and say, what medication will I be put on? Because I know once I start surgery, I'm going to be knocked out. And the only person going to be able to know anything, to ask anything is my husband. And he may not be concerned about asking anything because he may only be concerned about my body being on the land of the living. That may be the only thing on the top of his mind is my baby's still alive. That's all I care about. She's still alive. She can talk. She can move. She can breathe. Good. Because I need to eat next week. I need some sugars next week. I need baby to spoil her next week. He takes the light and spoiling me, and I appreciate that. So, because I spoils him. But the debt is getting too heavy for us to have all this overloaded compassion. You have to still balance your spirit by using your mind and keeping your body healthy. These three things have to work together. And of course, we have 7 chakras, but those bottom 3 chakras, if they're not managed, you walk around here acting like a damn dog. That's why people be sleeping with animals. That's why people be messing with children. That's why people be messing with their own race, because they bottom chakras out of control. Think about Sean Diddy Combs and Jay-Z and them all messing around with these little children, 13, 14, 15-year-old girls. And these girls don't have no sense in their head because they girls. And these men know this. And then they leave from that to go to other stuff. Sad. But common. All right, so I know y'all probably want me to actually talk about the $35 trillion blah, blah, blah. So let's see what I can say about it. 280 billion U.S. tax dollars invested since 1948 in U.S./Israel ethnic cleansing operation. 150 billion direct aid and 130 billion in offense contracts. Now, this source comes from the Embassy of Israel, Washington D.C., and the U.S. Department of State. So that's the source. It's true. And so, if you want to fuss at anybody, go fuss at the presidents that's been in there: Biden, Kamala now, Trump, Obama, Bush, the Clintons. Fuss at them because they're the ones that's been permitting it. And I would go even back to 1971, from there on down. Okay, so the U.S. has achieved another milestone after its national debt surpassed the 35 trillion mark. Surpassed the 35 trillion mark. The U.S. House of Representatives Budget Committee announced on July 29. Look at that 29. That's a 9/11. A complete 9/11. July is the month of 7. 7 means completion. And I know Christians know this. Completion of the 29. Completion of the emergency. So they have reached the point where now the country's actually broke. Okay? Yet, despite debt increasing and the economy struggling because we let everybody come in, their grandma, my cousin, my aunt, and my uncle, everybody coming into your community. You see your community don't have a park, your community no longer have hotels, your community no longer have money to fix anything, yet you're supposed to be only listening to your heart. You have to listen to your brain, and then you got to see how healthy you're being. Do you have enough food to feed yourself? What's going on? A lot of people are feeling anxiety in their bodies. Their spirit is disturbed. Their mind is disturbed. And they still want to lean on their little heart chakra. You got to say, look, heart chakra, I got to go here in my third eye. The third eye, your whole presence, everything about you, your sternum, everything about you, all these chakras in your body, you got to allow them, especially the four that's on the top, to work together. You want the ones on the bottom because that's for disbursement of filth and it's supposed to be for birthing. It's supposed to be for sensual things. And you got to keep those two things under submission, under control, because if not, that's the animalistic side of us that some people who have been in Hollywood talks about. I think the boy name is Orlando. He talks about when people bother you from the lower realm, they actually can activate the animalistic beast side of you. Okay. The U.S. is not deferred from achieving its military ambitions, even though the country is straight up broke. The country's broke. I could play the video where the Simpsons have predictive program us to know that this is what the play is. Now, if anybody gets sniped out in the play, well, yeah, well, that happens. But that don't mean it's fake. It's just what happens when they don't comply completely. But like I said about Trump, Trump has complied. He still has done. He's done this thing where, what do they call it? It's this computer thing where, from Obama to him to many others, have worked to bring about this system that's going to be a debt system that's going to put everybody under more slavery. Our system we're in now is slavery system, but it just looks like it's not. But now that you are a slave and you work from 9 to 5 or from 12 to 12, now they want to make you more of a slave, because now you're going to work still harder and won't be able to pay for luxurious things. You won't be able to have like my husband got me a Mercedes Benz. I'm not going to say I'm not going to be able to continue my lifestyle because I'm one that's awakened. But what about those people who aren't awakened? We weren't raised with a silver spoon in our mouths. One of us didn't have a parent, only one parent, and one of us had a parent who was a part-time lover. So it's nothing's perfect. I don't wait on the perfect time. I didn't wait on the perfect time to have a kid. I didn't, because there is no perfect time. So when I hear people say that, I mean, Raven said that at the store. She don't wait on the right time to have children. I have some adult kids say that too, and I'm thinking, y'all will never have children, because having children isn't some fanciful thing. Having children is just a responsibility. You have them, you take care of them, and hopefully in the future they understand that I took care of you 18, 19, 20, 21 years or 2 years. Can you kick back and give me half of that? And for any child that would get offended because the parent says, I had you, whether I wanted to or not, I was enjoying myself, and you got here. You could have turned around and said you didn't want to be here, but you came too, and so I took care of you. I could have been like them trifling parents that put the children out and whatever and throw them away, but I didn't. I kept you, and I struggled and strained and didn't have a lot, but I didn't need a lot because I had you, and you were beautiful, and I loved you. And if I didn't eat but one time a day, your ass gonna eat 3 times a day. If I didn't have a car, and my car broke down, and we didn't have a car, we're going to still get you where you want to go to the park in the stroller. We're going to do what we got to do. We're not going to look at the next man and say, oh, he got a car, and we don't have a car, and that should be my car. I envy nobody, because I don't know what it took for you to get it. Exactly. So move forward. It says here that Committee Chairman Jody Arrington, a Republican from Kentucky, called the development a dubious milestone and urged for more fiscal and spending responsibility to address the growing national debt fiasco. Today, we grieve yet another dubious milestone in the fiasco decline of most powerful and prosperous nation in history. President Reagan's words $34 trillion ago still hold true today, Arlington said in a statement, expressing hope that the Republican Party could somehow alleviate the situation if Donald Trump wins the November election. I would tell you, Donald can't fix the situation because it's above his pay grade. But what he can do is come in and make sure that we don't get on this one world system. Can he awaken himself from the game and choose to be above his puppetry? I don't know. I know Kamala's not going to even try to be above her puppetry because she comes from the Tamil line. Donald Trump comes from another line, but she comes from a line of India, just like Vivek. When I hear these young people talking about Vivek, I'm saying, y'all don't know how dangerous Vivek is, because his name, actually in gematria, is 666. Spirit, soul, and body failing to reach completion every time. Okay? He says, I believe Republican leadership in 2025 is our last best hope to restore fiasco responsibility before it's too late. He added. Now, Project 2025, I want to add this into the video before I get off. Project 2025 will, as he says, it will restore things that's worked in the past. Not way back in the past, but from the past, before all of this liberty of autonomy happened. What do they call it when they say it's an F word, where it's like a flow, fluent, when everything went fluid. So The girl that got the 7 kids with the 7 men that get $3,000 with the food stamp. The immigrant, the illegal immigrants. Sorry, immigrants, migrants that are legal. I do apologize because old girl ain't trying to throw y'all on the bus. But the illegal invaders or the illegal immigrants that came in under compassion, under the umbrella of compassion, a lot of their children are being sponsored. And if you look at the movie The Island, it talks about what are sponsors. Look at the movie The Island. You're going to hear sponsors. Biden turned these children over to sponsors inside of the United States, outside of the United States, and sponsors receive certain things from those who they paid. They only sponsors give money for certain things. It can be body parts, it can be a body, it can be slavery, whatever they want. And in the movie, in order to take hold of a whole person's body, they only had to give $5 million. Imagine who this money going to. Imagine. And then you hear, good old boy C at the I and the A. Y'all want to sit there and cry baby about us making videos about that MK Ultra being used. And then y'all already know CIA, y'all the ones that come up with conspiracy theory. We want to call people conspiracy theory. I hope people realize that when you call somebody a conspiracy theory, you actually talking about somebody that thinks outside of mass formation. You're actually speaking of somebody that's determined to use their own damn mind. You're being mad and propagated against somebody that says, I will not just follow religion. I will not just follow the banksters. I will not follow Wall Street. I will not follow and look behind any presidential campaign. I will say what I believe and what I have found to know through documentation and PDF files and books. How many people out here under the sound of my voice purchase books weekly reading about the stuff that's been released? Stuff that used to be buried for 50 and 75 years because the government buried information. Now these documents are being released. And now people who did not know information, such as myself, now I'm finding out information. And instead of me sitting on my hands and not talking about it, I got here and talk about it. Why? Because I know my life is my own life. And the only thing I need to regulate is all aspects of me, my being. Everything, every part of me, the good, the bad, the ugly, the happy, the sad, the content, the base and the abounding. All parts of me, I got to deal with all parts of me. And every part of me that may not speak in a high frequency, I got to deal with that. And I'm patient with that because it's me. I gotta be reasonable with my own situation that's within me. Okay? But only you can do it. Can nobody else make you free from yourself? Can nobody else break that program in you? Can nobody else break? If I can't give nobody else any other information, I'm going to give you this truth that will make you free. If you don't go within and plead with yourself that we got to break this curse, we got to break this spell, we got to break this program, you'll never break the program. And I'm a very strong person, always have been. I was voted most outspoken in my high school class when I wasn't even at school that day. I was getting my hair did because my hair got washed and somebody didn't want to pay for my hair to get washed, so I had to wait till I got some money to get my hair washed. I couldn't go to school, and I went to school the day before with one of those grandmama things on my head, so I had to wait to get my hair did. Finally got some money, probably somebody from the church gave me some money. Went, one of the old women from the church that loved me to pieces, went and got my hair did, got my hair pressed. And I missed school that day. And when I got back, they said, you know, you won the 3 or 4 things. I said, oh, did I? What did I win? What did I win? What did old girl win? You know. Okay. So let me continue. I will not go for the rhetoric that there is some best last hope. Because I'm gonna tell you something. Whatever's gonna happen in America right before the reset, because they're gonna do the reset. But we got to make sure that the reset isn't exactly the way they want it. They're gonna do a reset because I've seen documents. I've seen cards online. They got every damn president's name on it. They already got digital IDs. It's already out there. So even though I don't speak bad about Trump, I already know everything possibly I need to know about Trump and his game and the role he plays. Okay? And the only reason why the Democrats cannot succeed is because in the game, Supposedly, the good, those who do more good than bad, supposed to be the ones that trump things. Okay, because you already know, if you're a good woman, you're supposed to attract a good man. If you're a bad woman in the heart, and you got all this chaos in you, you're gonna attract a guy that got chaos in him. So whatever you bring to yourself, you bring to yourself because it's what you be. You only can attract who you are. The United States national debt has soared in recent years under President Joseph Biden and his predecessor, Donald J. Trump, who had repeatedly promised to reduce it during his 2016 campaign, because nobody can do it. But by the time Trump left office, the debt had grown by 8.4 trillion to 27.7 trillion, which is more than half of the borrowing related to COVID-19 measures. I'm telling you, our debt used to be like 1 point something trillion, and then when Obama got in, it went to uh, way over 5 trillion. It went pretty high, and by the time it just every president borrows, the government borrows because the president really don't have no power. They do have power, but executive order this, executive order that, meaning dictate this, dictator that. Anybody does executive order, it's like they're being dictators. So when they say Trump wants to be a dictator, okay, all of them been dictators, y'all. And you guys got to get off the gravy train. Stop drinking the Kool-Aid. All of them. All of them. But there are measures, like when there are good things that do happen that they do. But it depends on your moral setting. Some people look and see that Biden freed everybody to be super freaks and freak. Some people see that as good. And then some people look and say, oh, this is not good because now I got to watch my child. And it's all you trying to act like those people going to be a beast on your child just because they free now. And just because they be dressing weird and stuff and riding bicycles butt naked. You act like they looking at your children. No, they just want to be free. They just want to be free. And they don't want to be beasts. You act like they just animals. Like Mr. Beast, one of his sidekicks, who just got accused of trying to pander to a 13-year-old boy. That's why I brought up the Beast. And that's why his name is the Beast. Because he's part of the Beast system. How you doing? And that guy that plays a woman, he part of the Beast system too. Meaning low frequency system. That's what I'm talking about, y'all. The system that'll keep you here in the game, meeking the earth, being the meek of the earth. Just saying. The trend has continued under Biden, with the incumbent president now surpassing 35 trillion mark. So why are you gonna say just instead of saying incumbent president, just say Biden again? So under Biden, the country's broke. It's broker than it's ever been. Now really it's under Kamala, because Jill Biden had went to Paris once they moved Biden out the way. Because I don't really think Biden's in the land of living, because I'm sure Biden has a double body at the island or some skin or something from the island. Please go watch that movie. The island is free on the tube. Go to YouTube movies. The island is free. Okay? They may charge in a little while, but please watch it at least twice. And while you're watching it, suspend your disbelief and just watch the movie and say, okay, I'm going to have to believe everything I'm seeing on here as a possibility. Once you do that, it might disturb your spirit. It might have your mind messed up. It might make you not want to eat. But that spirit, soul, and body combination will start you on the road of questioning. From that point forth down, start writing stuff down, questioning things. You're going to have to dig deep. You're going to have to love yourself enough to cry. You have to love yourself enough to say, you know what? Is it possible every goddamn thing a lie? Everything a lie? Almost everything's a lie. The only thing I have found that's not a lie, and I'm well knowledgeable in a lot of things, and I've lived very narrow way all my life, to the point I was even rejected by the people that's supposed to believe in the narrow way. They said I was too crazy for the Christ, because I believed everything that the book said. And you couldn't play with me about it. I did that thing. However, I come to find out All of it's on the pyramid. And if you haven't looked at the illuminated pyramid that's on YouTube, you playing with yourself. Now, once you see it on there, you can't say, well, I have a personal this and I have a personal that. You can say that, but that don't mean nothing. I'm going to show y'all something else right here. It says that the U.S. is in fact the largest debtor nation in the world, and according to the International Monetary Fund, the IMF, which is one of the power pools that's on the illuminated pyramid, go look at it. The IMF is very, very, very part of the oligarch. Public debt will exceed 123%, 123% percentage of GDP. I want to say something else, that's why I was stumbling, because I was going to decode. 123, that's a countdown, baby. Will exceed the countdown of GDP this year and reach nearly 134% by 2029. Now, why did they pick 2029 instead of 2030? Because there's a 2030 agenda. Because you got a 2, which is a 1-1, or you could just do it 9-11 by itself. This means that it will be impossible for the U.S. to overcome its debt. The IMF even recently warned the government about the debt level that will be reached if current policies are maintained. So this is, if current policies are maintained, we are Venezuela. We are becoming a couple of countries in Africa. And if I know compassion, but you're going to have to set aside compassion and have compassion on your children, the ones that's really young, and tell all your relatives you got to move. You got to move out my neighborhood. You got to move out for my taxes. You got to move. Because I'm going to tell you something. This group think and these special cliques like those that get elected, when they get elected in these positions, they do not give a damn about what you think. Brandon doesn't care what you think. And I'm not talking about Biden. I'm talking about that guy that's, the Chicago mayor, could care less about what you. He's part of the Never Ending Story. Never Ending Story. Have you ever seen the black guy on there? Got the same damn haircut. I did a video on that. I may have to put it at the end of this video. Never Ending Story. They don't care. They understand we're in a matrix. They understand we're in a simulation. They understand that there's such thing as reincarnation. And the Bible do tell you about that. For those folks who think not. That's why they thought that supposedly Jesus came back as John the Baptist, when John the Baptist and Jesus was around the same time. Or is that Ezekiel? Who do they say the Son of Man is? So these folks believe in reincarnation. But if you start understanding there's such thing as reincarnation, then you're going to question the whole game. And it's going to perturb you for a moment. It's going to have you crying more than 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 days or weeks. You're going to be angry. You're going to be sad. But you got to do one thing, your anger and your sadness. You got to keep it moving. You got to keep learning. You got to keep seeing yourself through it. I'm speaking to my own self. See myself through everything that I'm learning. Everything that I flip. Some stuff is so disappointing. And what's the most disappointing thing? The most disappointing thing that I found in life is that when your mind knows something, you learn something's right to do. That program that you came with still can usurp what you know right to do. Because right in the middle with your body, spirit, soul, and body, with your mind, you got your spirit always ready and willing to stay in the right frequency. But your mind has to fight with the program that you came with, because of the iniquity doeth already work. The iniquity doeth already work. Didn't I say I read every book? That doesn't mean I put my life's trust in every book. I can quote from other books. And I can quote from any book I want to quote from. Why? Because they're just books penned by men. Now, if they were penned by the hand of some Elohim that I saw, no problem. But now they were penned by men. I wouldn't even believe the Elohim either, because I know they're just brethren and Anunnaki. So anyway, and the Anunnaki are melanated people. And I'm not putting down the Anunnaki because they're melanated people, because there are other Elohims that are not melanated. Okay? So, some of them are blue. Okay? And some of them are red skin. Alright, so let me go on. I'm sure I was going to say something significant. But what I was trying to say was the thing in life that I found is that when you want to do good, the program, which let's say you got a program that you supposed to always be hot tempered. You're supposed to always be stiff necked. Yet you're learning, no, I don't want to be hard headed and stiff necked. I need to have flexibility. Right in the middle of you in a situation, your thoughts are, okay, this is a good situation going on here. Okay, he or she just said something stupid to me, but that's their program, and you know it's their program because you write it on your phone. This day, this person did this to me. Next time I see this person, let's see if that's gonna happen. And lo and behold, it may not be the exact thing, but it's something happens. So you have to figure out: is this a program? Is this person a background player? Am I a background player? What's going on here? Like, that's the sad thing. Your spirit, your soul, your body, your mind has to perpetually be worked on. I'm telling y'all, if y'all only knew what kind of strong-minded person I am when it comes to seeking information and truth and fairness. I always try to I want fairness. I don't care about, look at, my heart, the people. Oh, no. Who is it going to damage? If I helped you, is it going to help you? Or if I sit here and teach you how to fish, will that help you? Me giving you half of my husband's paycheck, is that going to help another woman? No. What I need to do is figure out how to help you either find a job, help you fill out some applications, make sure whatever. Maybe babysit for you until you can get a job. And then once you get this job, then while you're in the process, maybe just put a time limit on how long I help you, so I won't burden myself with. I'm never going to be in a situation where I will not have my house in order, because if my house starts getting out of order, then I need to pause and say, hold up, wait a minute, what's going on here? Why is my house getting out of order? So now I got to stop and say, hey, let me get my house in order. And that's what's going on with America. We're being moved by our emotions and not our logic. And this emotion has been for a while now. And the sad thing about it is the people that's coming over, a lot of these people are getting damaged badly. You have to understand that a lot of these people that are in the White House, a lot of these people are not humane like we are. They're not human. They're not humane like we are. Sad but true. Wrap your mind around that. So here you are having to deal with your own self. They tell you in cartoons, the devil on your left, angel on your right. It's telling you that you have to get about breaking the program. I have videos on two of my channels where it talks about Leos, Cancers, Virgos, Sagittarius. It talks about all these different signs that we've been assigned to. Those are programs. And in each one of those signs, I talk about what they are and why the program needs to be broken. Now, this morning, I got up and I thought about some things that happened these past few days because I've been on some medicine, and how the part of me that's stronger and more patient and more kind-thoughting has been suppressed by this medicine, and the other side of me that's like fiery, that's poignant, that's protective, is in the forefront. And it's like, hold on, I need to balance myself. Y'all, we are made in such a way that, I'm going to say it's spectacular at its best. We've programmed in such a way that you got to bring hold to every imagination. Imagination's thought is energy. And sometimes it's not other folks talking to you. Sometimes it's just the side of you that you suppress. Some people do have walk-ins. Some people are possessed. But sometimes all the hueing of color in the human, the energy in humans isn't just one color. You can have 7 colors in you. And you better hope all them seven colors don't blend together and pull you into low frequency. And that's the reason why they want to call people that low frequency, the color black. It's because they want to keep you in black. Who is they? The oligarch. And why do they want to call you white? Because they want you to think that you're a holy angel, even when you're not a holy angel all the time. We have to be reasonable with ourselves and realize that there are times when I am at my best and there are times when I'm not. Because if you start looking at other people and saying I'm better than them because of some aesthetics, then that's just being childlike. And if you look at yourself and say, oh, they think they're better than me because they label me black, you being childish, because you shouldn't even worry about how somebody look at you. You should look at the definition of the word. And the definition of the word that people be called, actually just means lazy. And if you're not a lazy person, you can just say, well, I guess you're one of those too. I guess you're a ninja too. You're a ninja too. If I'm a ninja, you're a ninja. The whole United States is a ninja. Because look at the situation we're in. 35 trillion. We've been so lazy as a mass, as a group, that we haven't even awakened to the fact that this is a game. Even the people that say they're awakened, they talk this bull crap about people telling them about the game and how to run the game. But then when you ask them, the people that you ask them more detailed questions that's supposed to be able to tell you stuff about the future, blah, 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 blah. I listen to all people. I watch stuff on videos. I do. And I be sitting there playing. I'm going to listen. That don't mean I'm going to receive. That don't mean I agree with what you're saying. But I'm going to listen. I'm not in agreement. I'm listening. So just because you open up a video, make sure you understand. You tell the video, and the person that made the video, I'm listening. That does not mean I agree with you. And if you feel that person made the video under some type of magic or spell, and you feel something come through the screen and it's not right, as soon as you start that video and something don't feel right, then what you need to do is put the video on mute. Put it on CC's on and watch it that way so you can still get the information. And some people still have made it where they can try to surpass that. But at least you will get the information, and then you can still tell the video without the sound, hey, this is not about mastering me. This does not mean I come in agreement with what you're saying. That does not mean I receive what you're pushing out. What it means is I want to hear you, but I don't want to hear your spell. But a lot of people, the greed of power and influence is what's most important to them. They want to be influencers. I'm nobody's influencer. I'm just sounding an alarm that you better get out of the crybaby zone and stop pointing fingers. It's real easy to point fingers at people you see every day, because you can remember the crap they do to you every day. It's easy to say, oh, my spouse, oh, my children, oh, my mama, oh, my dad, oh, my neighbor across the street. My goodness, oh, the mailman getting on my nerves. Oh, the UPS guy, please slow down. You can blame everybody. Won't Whole Foods food be a little bit more reasonable? Or you can go in there and get the food that you know that you like that's reasonable. Or you can go to Walmart, Wally World, and go in there and get some. Maybe you can't go to every store. Yeah. Under current policy, the general government debt is expected to rise steadily and exceed 140% of GDP by 2032. Now, 32 in gematria, it means theater. So by 2032, there's going to be a lot of theater going on here in these United States of America, Incorporated, the business. The American people is United States, but whether there's theater with us, there's going to be a lot of theater on TV by 2032, because 32 is a very powerful number. And it's powerful because if you pay attention to anything that's 32, it has everything to do with theatrics. Okay? Similarly, the general government deficit is expected to remain around 2.5, which is completion, which is 7, of GDP. The financial institution said in a statement on June 27. The IMF added that the U.S. needs to reverse the current rise in its public debt to GDP ratio to avoid a growing risk to the country and the global economy. Now, the reason why the global economy is at risk is because our money, our petrodollars, are tied to every goddamn body around the planet. That's why they was able to lock up Russia's oligarchs' monies that was attached to American money, is because the petrodollar is the money used that people use to exchange with around the globe or on the flat plane domed facility. Responding to the U.S. breaking a new debt record, Maya McGuinness, president of the Nonpartisan Committee for a Responsible Federal Budget, said in a statement, This is news. This news is incredibly sobering and incredibly unsurprising. I hadn't heard that in a while. Unsurprising for anyone who has been following our fiscal trajectory. Just last month, the Congressional Budget Office warned Americans that the debt held by the public is on its way to a new record share of the economy in 3 years. The deficit will be nearly $2 trillion this year and nearly $3 trillion in 10 years. So it's just getting ridiculous. But there go that 2 and that 3 again, okay? And then it says in 10 years. So you got 23, which is dealing with melanated people, and then you got 32, which is the opposite of 23. Theater with melanated people in 10 years, which means there's a doorway that's going to open for dramatics to happen. Now, that doesn't mean that Caucasian people won't suffer too. It's just more melanated people on the planet than Caucasian people, whether you believe that or not. We're going to have we're going to have to get serious about the debt, and soon. Chat, please. Election years cannot be an exception for trying to prevent completely foreseeable dangers. And the debt is one of the major dangers we are facing, she added. Nonetheless, despite the growing debt, Moscow, which is Russia, is not under any illusions that this will change Washington's militaristic ambitions. Of course, the U.S., as one of the largest global economies, has a direct impact on the international economic situation. Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov said on July 30th. However, it is unlikely that this whole situation will somehow hinder their militaristic ambitions. U.S. global dominance is gradually collapsing due to its weakening economy and the emergence of a multipolar world order in Russia, China, India, and other countries that's playing a major role. They forgot to say South Africa, because that what makes BRIC. Okay. With the emergence of the multipolar world, Washington will soon have to communicate with other powers on an equal footing, especially since, as the failed anti-Russian sanctions have, I said that earlier, shown the U.S. can no longer use its economic might to impose its will. Although U.S. debt is growing and ordinary citizens are suffering from a cost of living crisis, Washington's militaristic ambitions will certainly, for sure, continue unabated. This is seen in the fact that in May, it was revealed that Congress had approved $175 billion of emergency support for Ukraine since 2022, an astronomical figure considering the U.S. is $35 trillion in debt. Let me repeat that, people. This is seen in the fact that in May, what's seen? The militaristic ambitions that will be unabated continuously. This is seen since May. It was revealed that Congress is Republican and Democrat. Militaristic ambitions. So whether you Democrat or Republican, both sides, if Republican get in there this time and Trump want to go to war and he wants to support the Aussie Nazis and destroying up a little piece of land that's left, and the Aussie Nazis that sit over there in Ukraine want to keep fighting with Russia, and this is all about money. And we as citizens, which means nothing more than slaves, we as citizens to the system, because if you really believe in the system, I don't believe in the system, I just make videos about it. I don't believe in the system. I don't believe in the political system. I just tell on it. They need you to drink the Kool-Aid. Because they said, well, if we don't vote, then we won't have no say. They'll just do what they want to do. They don't do what they want to do anyway. So why do you need to play in their game? Why do you need to give your frequency, your energy, your spirit, your hopes, your desires, your free will to their will being done? You just tell them all of them. And there's not much I can say that's to support what the Demis doing. Because they turned to the Demi demons. All my adult life before I stopped participating in the political system, I was a damn Democrat. I'm ashamed. Obama did me in his first round. I woke up when Obama did what he did. I couldn't. There are certain things in my life I don't tolerate. I do not tolerate the manipulation of children. I do not tolerate. I do not tolerate perversion. I do not tolerate. I do not tolerate sexuality that's being worshipped. I do not tolerate the low three chakras as being more important, at least the last two, being more important than your heart chakra, than your third eye, being able to see past this game. No, ma'am, no, sir, ain't happening. If you don't understand what chakras are, then you have not been living. You might need to go look at what chakras are. They're not guru, they're not demonic, they're not witchcraft, they're none of that. And you can't even find that even in that book, the one that a lot of people depend on. It tell you in Revelation to look up at the dawn stars that's been mapped out to know the season and everything else. And the people you see every day that listen to your videos, and you say, I could save my throat. Is there a way to block everybody that I know that's related to me from seeing my videos? Because then I would be like, well, they don't know what I think. This person don't know what I think. No, they just don't retain what you think half the time because they don't care. It's just something you have something that's more valuable than your words coming out your mouth that come from your heart, that your mind has thought of and struggled with. There's another part, the spirit, soul, and body. If you didn't catch that, well, it is what it is. It was revealed that Congress has approved or had approved I keep saying 700. Maybe that's what it is. 175 billion of emergency support for Ukraine since 2022. Y'all know who was in 2022. And it's astronomical figure considering U.S. is in a $35 trillion debt. Trillion. And people still want money. And they still handing out money to people. And cities going broke. Democratic cities are going broke. Let's keep it real. Democratic cities are going broke. Not because of what some Republicans saying and not letting you have. When these people that want to be skittled, when these people wanted money, they got money. When these people wanted money to continue war and start war, they got money. When Obama could have helped the black colleges, he didn't. I don't worship Obama, so I say what I want to say about him. I already know when he was at church, he wasn't a straight guy. He's bisexual, but they had to work that into the system too. Like Time Magazine say, he's the first gay president, and Michelle is just a hermaphrodite. Because when he left office, the first thing he did was he went to an island on a trip with two Caucasian guys that were bisexuals. I'm gonna call them bisexuals because hopefully, no, they probably aren't bisexual. They probably just worship that bottom chakra too much, like Diddy. But then Diddy would be bisexual, but not really. But anyway, that's the role he has to play. More alarmingly, it appears that the U.S. will continue to waste billions upon billions on a war that cannot win, just like Vietnam War. The U.S. announced on July 29 that $1.7 billion in military aid will be given to Ukraine, including an array of ammunition for an air defense system. I'm looking at something, y'all. Artillery, anti-tank, and anti-ship missiles. And they said other stuff too. Nonetheless, if the debt continues to grow, the U.S. may have no choice but to massively scale back on its astronomical military spending, which will account for an eye-watering 842. That's what I was talking about. That's what I thought when I said 700 billion. 842 billion in 2024. Whether it is a Democrat or a Republican in the White House next year, it is doubtful that the debt will be reduced over the next presidential term. But I think and hear me out, and I'm finna be truthful. I think the problem is no one wants to get beyond being given something. And that's why so much killing goes on. Give me mine. I don't say give me mine. I say I'm gonna get mine. But this give me mine, my pay for my student loan, pay for my rent, pay for my food. Somebody gonna take care of these kids. Give me, give me, give me. Give me freedom of expression. You already got freedom of expression. Give me the right to sleep with a female if I'm a female. Give me the right to sleep with a man if I'm a man. You're already doing it. Give me the right to annihilate my child. Well, there are ways of doing that without going to the doctor, which will earn $10,000 for that surgery. Well, I forget. I was telling somebody locally that's related to me that I hadn't seen in a moment that only 0.027% of abortions is for incest and rape, and the rest are just for inconvenience. People are inconvenienced. That's what makes the game a little bit stagnant for me. That's what brings water in my eyes. It's because it should be obvious what's helpful and what's healthy and what's useful, but nobody really cares about seeing. Everybody says, see for me. Hey, book over here. Tell me everything I need to believe. See for me. Speak for me. Be my foundation. Then other people look over and say, hey, government, see for me. Stand for me. Give me. Then another group look over here to television. ABC, CNN, MSNBC, BET, Fox, FOX, which means 666. What is a swine? Somebody that gobbles up everything Yahoo says, somebody that gobbles up everything Google says, somebody that gobbles up everything the tube says, everything television says. Have I said that? Everything the newspaper says, everything Washington Post says, everything they boss says, everything the paycheck says. Because some people just live for the love of money or the love of sex. Money and sex rules the world. Money and sex rules the world. Like, subscribe, hit the bell. Appreciate you watching.